I believe you've told me, and I've also read, that there's little pockets of unrest in communist China, with workers in different factories protesting. Some of the, I won't call them opposition media, but some of the information's getting out of China that they were having serious problem with these factories and so forth. People weren't being paid for 2 weeks. Pensioners weren't getting their pensions. So it doesn't look like a complete great victory to China for me.
Well, what happened is at a time which was critical for Beijing and for the Communist Party, Trump gave them some relief. And you're right. There are worker protests across the country because even before Trump took his second oath of office, export-oriented factories were having real problems. They were not getting orders, what was necessary to keep them in business. After the tariffs, a lot of them, in fact, went out of business. They weren't paying their workers. Workers took to the streets. And we're starting to get hints that this is affecting smaller Chinese banks because smaller Chinese loans are going bust. That means the banks don't have enough money for depositors. Depositors are getting angry, and they're taking to the streets as well. So this is an economy that is fragile. I think the Chinese economy is contracting. We can see this from all sorts of price data, especially February, March, and April. So I wouldn't have given the Chinese relief. I would have pressed the advantage. But, you know, the president took the opposite course.
Let me ask you this. With respect to the Communist Chinese military, if they're having economic problems, does that affect their military capabilities and their payments to the military, or is that just prioritized?
It's prioritized. For some time now, the Chinese military, from all we can tell, is getting a bigger portion of central government revenues than the economy would bear. They're still able to do it because the generals and admirals form the most powerful faction in the Communist Party, but it's going to catch up with them soon because we're seeing all sorts of signs of distress. And there's a lot of commitments that Xi Jinping has made, and I don't think he can fulfill all of them. So the military, I think, is going to have problems with its budget. That's going to cause even more problems for China's leaders with the generals and admirals. So this is not a good situation for China's leader.